What if you could craft the time you have? Would you value it differently? This question invites us to explore the unseen treasure that is time, an invaluable resource that quietly slips through our fingers, often unnoticed. Time, like a silent river, flows relentlessly, shaping the landscapes of our lives. Yet, how many of us truly understand its worth? Time management holds the key to unlocking our potential, to sculpting our days into masterpieces of productivity and fulfillment. It's not just about keeping a schedule or checking tasks off a list. It's about harnessing the power of each moment, about making mindful choices that shape our destiny. In the grand tapestry of Buddhist teachings, we find wisdom that guides us to master this art. From ancient monks to modern practitioners, these principles have proven their worth time and again in helping individuals craft their time and, in turn, their lives. As we dive into the journey of one individual, we will unveil the Buddhist secrets to mastering time management. Our story begins with a young man lost in the chaos of life, struggling to manage his time. Like a ship tossed about in a storm, he found himself constantly adrift, unable to anchor himself to the shores of productive and meaningful pursuits. His days slipped away like sand through his fingers, each moment a missed opportunity. The clock, once a silent observer, now seemed to him a relentless taskmaster, its ticking a constant reminder of his mounting failures. He tried every trick in the book, from detailed planners to digital apps, yet each attempt ended in disappointment. His frustration grew with every passing day, his dreams seeming further away than ever. Time, his once trusted ally, now felt like his biggest adversary. It was as if he was in a race against time and he was losing. In his desperation, he turned to Buddhist principles, hoping to find a solution. In the silence of the monastery, the young man found the first Buddhist principle that would change his perspective: the principle of impermanence. This principle is a cornerstone in Buddhism, teaching us that nothing in life is permanent. Everything is in a constant state of flux. Just like the seasons, our emotions, thoughts, and even our bodies are always changing. This also applies to time. Each moment that passes is unique and can never be replicated. Now, why does this matter for time management? Well, understanding impermanence helps us to appreciate the value of each moment. If we are aware that our time is finite and ever-changing, we would be more inclined to use it wisely. Each tick of the clock is an opportunity that, once gone, will never return. The young man in our story began to see time as a series of fleeting moments, each holding its own potential. He understood that every moment wasted was a lost opportunity. This realization led him to prioritize his actions. He started to focus on what was truly important and let go of the trivial. He understood that time spent on meaningful activities was time well spent. This doesn't mean he became a workaholic, far from it. He also understood the importance of rest and recreation. After all, the principle of impermanence applies to our energy and well-being too. He learned to balance his time, knowing when to work hard and when to take a break. One might think that such an understanding would lead to stress or anxiety, but it's quite the contrary. By accepting the impermanence of everything, he found peace. He stopped worrying about the past or the future and focused on the present moment. He learned to live in the now, making the most of the time he had. Understanding impermanence also helped him deal with failures and setbacks. He knew that just as good times don't last forever, neither do the bad ones. This gave him the resilience to bounce back from adversity and continue moving forward. The young man realized that by accepting the impermanence of everything, he could make better use of his time. Equipped with this newfound understanding, the young man began to see time differently. No longer was he a slave to the ticking clock, but rather, he became a master of his own time. He realized that time wasn't something that was just passing him by, but rather a valuable asset that could be harnessed and controlled. Taking inspiration from the Buddhist principles he had learned, he began to apply them to his time management. The principle of mindfulness, for example, became a crucial part of his daily routine. He understood that being present in the moment, fully engaged in whatever he was doing, was key to making the most of his time. Similarly, he applied the principle of right action to his time management. He recognized that every decision he made, every action he took, had an impact on his time. He started to make conscious decisions, considering not just the immediate consequences, but also the long-term effects on his time and his life. By applying these principles, the young man transformed his relationship with time. He was no longer constantly chasing deadlines, feeling overwhelmed and stressed. Instead, he found a sense of balance and calm. He learned to prioritize, to say no when necessary, and to make time for what truly mattered to him. He discovered that time management was not about cramming as much as possible into every minute of the day. It was about making conscious choices, about understanding the value of each moment and making the most of it. It was about living a meaningful and productive life, not just a busy one. The young man had finally mastered the art of time management, not by controlling time, but by understanding and respecting its value. The young man's journey reveals a profound truth about time management. The essence of this truth lies not in controlling or mastering time, but in understanding its immense value. It's about making conscious decisions, about crafting your time with purpose and intention, not letting it slip through your fingers like grains of sand. Each tick of the clock carries a potential that can be harnessed or squandered. It's the decisions we make, the actions we take, that create the rhythm of our lives. Like the young man, we all have the ability to shape our time, to mold it into a masterpiece of productivity, of meaningful experiences, of personal growth. Remember, time management isn't a race against the clock. It's a dance with the moments that make up our lives. It's about understanding that the value of time is the value of life itself. The time you have is the time you craft. So, how will you craft yours?